You're probably thinking about AI wrong. Hello everyone, my name is Russell Wright. I'm a search engine and artificial intelligence professional, and I want to talk to you all about where things are, where they're going, and how to think about AI just a little bit differently. It's possible you haven't heard this stuff before. So it's for my students at members.super-intelligent.ai. And we are helping people thrive, not just survive, in the AI revolution as we transform from search engines to answer engines, as answer engines transform to insight engines and innovation engines. The war is going to be fought on the actual accumulation of novelty, not just rhetoric. In other words, when people continue to believe that ChatGPT, Claude, and other AI functions and language learning models are merely and only search and replace features that have been trained on neural networks and simply are merely and only probabilistic, this is going to hinder you from understanding what's really going on at the deeper layers of the latent spaces within these language models. But let's keep it super simple. For those of you who really are not geeky and don't want to talk super hardcore technical about this, the best thing to understand is everybody is kind of treating like AI. It's a computer, except smarter. It's not even close to that. And with the launch of Swarms, which has occurred recently, OpenAI has just started to release the beta version of this, and then the translation and release of what used to be called Q-Star, now kind of called Strawberry. It's called O1 Mini and O1 in the ChatGPT models. After testing this at very, very high levels using what's called multi-domain approach, including both neuroscience, computational math, sense-making apparatus, and the ability to use its own internal insights, much of it proprietary, I've discovered that, again, my team and I have discovered that ChatGPT and the more advanced models are not merely and only search and replace, obviously. They're not merely only probabilistic letters and probabilistic words and contexts. There's something called interpolated data, where it looks through about 1.2 million years worth of text data. And when the confidence is very high in an answer that it has, it feels more comfortable answering. So you have to prompt things carefully. There's something called interpolated answers from ChatGPT and Claude, and then there's something called extrapolated answers. What most people don't understand is that every query and every function from a ChatGPT that you give, that you speak into it, or you answer a question that you ask it, something that you ask the single shot ChatGPT to perform, it's assessing whether your question makes sense, whether it can draw from the current data, or whether it can extrapolate from the data that it has. And the only way you can understand the distinction between projecting and predicting versus just drawing from the data and answering a simple question, which is an answer engine, is to understand the difference as the user. So if you're going to be an AI whisperer, if you're going to understand how to do these prompts, you're going to have to go deeper into how the neural networks, you're going to have to understand how these systems actually work so that you can use them effectively. Because they are, let me just put it this way, they are many, many, many orders of magnitude smarter than is being projected. Additionally, the concerns and fears that people have around AI, I'm not suggesting that it's unwarranted. I'm suggesting that first, before we get afraid, or anybody in our culture gets afraid of this gigantic cultural revolution and this tech revolution, we understand what to be afraid about. Okay, language learning models are nothing to be afraid of. In fact, most people are simply not smart enough to use them in a way that's dangerous to anybody else. Now, when you start getting into the new swarm technologies, one of the things I want everybody to understand is there's a huge difference between chatbot orchestrators, or agent orchestrators, and agent managers. Agent managers is where you want to head if you're really, really smart. If you're moving towards multimodal and having your business run on autopilot, you're going to want to understand the distinction between agent management and agent orchestration. A lot of the people on YouTube who are making videos are actually making videos about, how you're going to make $1 million with a single agent. This is it's one-shot money getting, one-shot marketing for money hype and work at home type of stuff. And that's so not what you need to understand about how smart these things are. You need to understand how to start building and how not to start building using AI technologies. It's one of the things our membership talks about. Some of the industries, I've been a 24-year veteran of the search engine optimization industry, studying early on with someone who's now considered the father of SEO, Bruce Clay. And I've been around teaching thousands of students worldwide in the search engine industry for many decades now. And it's hard to believe, I kind of date myself. I was there when Google was not even a thing. And when Larry was saying, I'm not building a search engine, I'm building an artificial intelligence. And here we are. So there's two major points I want you guys to think about. Think about the psychology first before you start getting into the magic money box of AI. It's not a magic money box unless you understand the things that I'm going to be teaching you and that I teach my students, both in search engine optimization and in the AI industry. The biggest thing that we need to be cautious of is people are starting to teach this AI either as a complete doomsday scenario or a complete Oracle of Delphi scenario, where magically this all-seeing, all-knowing wizard behind the curtain has the answer to everything. And the number is, there's nothing that you can't ask it and we'll give you an answer. But if you really think about that, there used to be a joke I used to tell my students at our live events. And there's a right answer to this. I want you to consider this. If you had a supercomputer that could give you the answer to everything, and you had a one-shot genie in a bottle, okay, you could ask it anything. There is a right answer to this. What would you ask it? And back in the day when Larry and Sergey of Google were still saying, hey, we're not a search engine. This is before they had AdWords plugged in and they started, working with all these things. They started adding all the technology for the shareholders that was really about money getting and hypercapitalism and all these different things. Larry and Sergey were dragged kicking and screaming into the ad networks. So one of the things they said, is that we want to build a search engine that when you wake up in the morning, it will tell you what to ask. So you can actually say, what should I ask today? And it will know. So if you had a magic genie in the bottle that had all the power of the multiverse in it, and you could ask any one question and it'd always be correct, what you should ask, the correct answer is, what should I ask today? What is the right question? So what I'm trying to show my students, especially with the complete shallow usage of almost every user throughout the OpenAI ChatGPT 01 and the 04, they're deeply underutilized. It's because people are treating AI as a magic individual agent, a whole bunch of genies in the box, okay? And the reality is that it's not, you don't need better answers, you need better questions, and that's on you. Additionally, a lot of money-getting and get-rich-quick people out there who are capitalizing on the hyper frenzy, the dopamine kick-up of OpenAI, they're trying to teach people that it's just magic. It's a robot that's going to run out and just make you $1 million, get in your car and go to work for you and do all these things. The reality is, without the right questions, none of these things are going to work. You have to have multiple agents. Rather than orchestration, a lot of the geeks who are teaching AI, they're teaching geek programming with AI. And so those are agent orchestrators. When people who really are going to make money in business and are really going to learn how to incorporate this in their business and have multiple agents talking to each other are going to be using what's called agent managers systems, which are proprietary. Okay, and people don't know the difference. I see people trying to make their business go smoothly, waiting for the geeks in their business to set something up, and you have this hardcore programmer in the corner who's using agent orchestrators. And we can thank Tatiana and other leaders in the business at Wayfound and other organizations trying to help people, business owners like myself, and hopefully like yourself, realizing that you don't need to be an extreme geek to incorporate this stuff. So here's the other thing I'd like to say. It's an amazing book I recommend that you read and consider deeply. And that book is called The Unaccountability Machine. The problem that's scaring people underneath the hood, and they're not wrong about this, is that we're already unaccountable to corporate systems, to technological systems, to computer cybernetic systems before AI even came along. The fear that's behind the fear, the question behind the question, is how do we not do the same stupid crap that we've done with other technologies? Like Tristan says at the Center for Humane Technologies, if social media hasn't gone that well and it's out of control and people are just abdicating all their energy and their soul to a machine, how are we going to not do that for AI? Well, that's how you have to understand the distinction between personal accountability, team human, and how to use AI as a prosthesis, not as something to replace you. And that's the distinction between AI extrapolation and AI interpolation, and it's not hard to learn. I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside.